everybody, it's Binja the Body Whisperer here, coming to you from my room. Gonna do a workout tonight, and I'm changing it up a little bit. So let me just fix this because it's a little low. Show part of it, but not all of that. Okay, because when I'm standing, I think it's weird when your head gets cut off. So today I'm gonna do 10 different things. Well, not 10 full different things, but I changed a few things up because I gotta tell you, I'm sore in the glutes and stuff, and so I just decided, I'm not gonna do as many squats. I'll still do some lunges, but I think I might do like 30 seconds. But when I get to that, I'll share it. But I'm gonna do T-Pushups, stretch, lunge right and left, inchworm, roll up and down, downward dog. I'll keep the high knee, twist, Thera Band, and then hamstrings, going back to the hamstrings. So that's it. And the reason being, again, I'm just feeling a little bit tight, and so I'm just taking my time. I don't want to overdo it. What's the rush? I'm looking at my diet right now. I'm eating pretty good as far as I'm keeping it very simple, cutting out sugars, things like that. So my diet's getting there, so I know my physical will get there. I'm only this is gonna be a week in after today's, so I've been off for at least 60 days, was off for at least 60 days before that, and towards the end, so that, why should I think that it's gonna take any shorter than that 60 days to get caught back up? It's one of the reasons why, it's like I always do say, and I'm the victim, or not victim of it, but I'm a perpetrator of it too. It's like I tell myself, it's like, don't stop, you're gonna regret it when you start back up, because it's gonna, once you got that momentum going, don't stop. And I tell myself that so many times, and it still happens. But what are you gonna do? You gotta get back up on that horse. That's it. That's all you can do. So I'm gonna get my timer here quick and get that started for the Gymboss. Spartacus is what I call it, even though it's kind of a reverted form of that. So I'm starting off with T-Pushups. I decided to start off with T-Pushups. It's a pretty good way of getting warmed up. If you can't do the full push-up, you can always do this and then switch to this. Totally doable. Back to this. And if you need to, you can leave a knee down. And that still is getting that balance in there. So you can do knees, leave that one knee down, straighten out that top leg, and you're still getting that balance in there. I'm gonna just do the full. Remember to keep that, instead of keep it up like this. We'll get there. Okay, so that's it. We'll get there. So now we're gonna stretch in 7, 6, 5. I think what I might do is do a modified plow, or not a modified plow, but if you need to, I just want to stretch out my lower back. Spending a little time down here, breathing into those ribs. Okay, relaxing. So, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna do a lunge, and I want to watch the time here because I'm gonna do 30 seconds on one leg, 30 seconds the other. I decided I'm just gonna do a static. I'm gonna put that foot down. Come back in and do a twist. Okay, and then we're going to come up from that. Take your time. So that's it for that. So now we're going to do the inchworm. Remember, this is going down. I'm going to go out into a long plank. Walking the feet back up. Walking the hands back up, I should say. And just take your time. Do what you can do. Okay, that's it for that. Okay, we're gonna go into roll up. So for this, feet about hip width apart. Dropping from the head, just rolling down the spine. And down at the bottom, just shake, go from side to side. You can put your elbows on your hands on your elbows. And then rolling up the spine. And then rolling down the spine. And rolling up the spine. Shake it out at the top. Something I've been noticing in the videos is my left shoulder being, quite a bit higher. That's for me, it's just something to be mindful of and just watch and observe. But I had a shoulder injury in the past, which most of us probably are. I also have my hips are a little bit out of balance, so it's just something to keep watching and observing. Okay, that's it for that. So now we're gonna do downward dog, but it's just something to be mindful of. I just keep watching it just because it's something. So we're gonna go into a high plank. So making sure that your shoulders are above your wrist, everything's stacked up. And then we go up and into this downward dog position, as they call it. And this is a great stretch. Thinking about taking the head is relaxed and your shoulders are going down. You're stretching your calves. You can paddle your feet. Straighten those back legs. Hips up to the sky. Flat back. Trying to bend in half. And the heels are trying to touch the floor. That gives a really good stretch in your calves. Some people might be up here, some people might be here, some people might be touching. So coming out of that, just taking your time, just being kind of inverted. So now we're going to move into the high knee. This is probably, well, one of the more dynamic. This is about the only leg thing that I left in there, but I kind of wanted to because it does offer some movement in those hip flexors. And you can kind of like, even though it's not the same, you can do kind of a rotation. So it's a rotating high knee. So this is just the straight high knee. I like to sometimes just get movement in there, whatever that is. You can feel it. You can use the arms. And stop. So now we're going to move on to the twist. Remember, I should try and do this in the morning, see what happens. I usually feel pretty good after doing this, right? Everything starts to get warmed up. You know, one of the things, and as we age, and you know, you hear this from the guys who train older actors who have to get in shape for a movie. Usually they come in for some type of just a mobility. So they usually train a couple times a day, and I'm not saying you may or may not have that time, but I think the most important thing is that they realize that as we get older, our joints get a little stiffer. Things don't bounce back the same way they do, especially if you put on some weight and haven't done a whole lot of cardio. So the joints themselves, all the joints, your spine, hips, just need a little bit extra loving. So you're gonna grab that Thera Band. Need a little extra, like I was saying, I think it's 8 times muscles get 8 times the blood flow so it takes 8 times to get the same amount. So your muscles could grow really strong really quick. And that's great. And if you stick with it, you know, and you don't get injured, you're probably, your tendons and stuff will catch up, and then your muscles and your tendons will be pretty good. But even people who are at the top of their game, you know, this is the other question. I saw somebody posted, like a friend of mine who was saying something about doing some type of a weight that he had never done before at his age, ever, you know, and so he's like doing more weight than he had. And then somebody commented and said, yeah, you know, it's like keep gaining. It's like, well, yeah, but at what point are the gains, at what point, so we're just gonna do this last one as a hamstring stretch, and I'm gonna use the ball under the hamstring, just give a little basically like pressure point. I'll do this for the 30 seconds. Pull this down to C, and then do the other half. But at what point do you say, okay, you can set a goal. You can set a goal. That's the thing too, because I also know somebody who set a goal and did for a 13 half marathon and got a personal best, but in a more healthy way than I'd seen. And I think he would even agree, like probably a more healthy way than he had done it before. It was just a more, you know, a consistent approach, but there was something a little different. Oop, was talking. So I'm just gonna, once the timer rings, I'm just gonna continue with this one probably for the same amount of time, about 40 seconds. So, or about 50. So 50 each leg. But, you know, the one person is talking about getting stronger, and that's great, but you know, if you didn't work out when you were younger and then you started working out, and then, yeah, you very well could lift more at an older age than at a younger age, but your strength potential is the highest, testosterone, everything, it starts to decline. Now that's not to say to not keep working out, keep lifting heavy, but counterbalance it. It doesn't have to be the all the time thing, right? If you maintain like a physical shape where your body is still like mobile, tendons are good, you know, and you're pushing yourself, and maybe you're pushing yourself pretty hard once a week, you know, that there's a lot of people out there who would probably say, and the workout's done now, so you don't have to watch it anymore, but I'm just going to keep talking just for philosophy. But you know, there are people out there who would say that if you lifted, I mean, there were some bodybuilders back in the day who their thing was like lift hard once a week, and that in and of itself, I think it was Mike Metzer, he talked about that. It's like, if you keep your body primed and ready to go, and you know, joints and everything ready, you're working out, you're eating well, you know, you're still having some treats and cheat days in there, you can still do that, but you're still kind of pushing yourself on a weekly basis. I think that'd be more than enough to go into age and longevity, into as you age. Because for me, I know I'm never gonna be, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna be. I know that I keep getting older, things keep changing, things feel different. In some ways I feel better, in other ways I don't. I think overall I feel like, you know, I've pushed it to the edge with some things, and did some things that looking back on it, if I could go back and say, hey, you know, don't keep doing that, don't keep pursuing that, I would probably go back and make some changes, but I can't do that. So now I have to live with the consequences, right? And then how do I live with those consequences? What does that look like? Because if I did nothing, I'd probably feel worse, and the pain would still be there, whatever the damage that I've done. But I feel like I'm trying to mitigate it on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. And obviously I'm not perfect at it, nor do I you know, nor is that what I'm looking for. I guess it's just a progression, right? So yeah, so keep it up, people, keep moving. I'm gonna do a little bit more stretching here, and take care. Keep moving, people. Binja out.